Hello, welcome to the Ryan and Elly Show.
I'm Elly.
And I'm Ryan. And today we're going to talk about a topic, and I think we're going to sort of more or less delve straight into it, but it is quite prevalent. I think Elly will probably share her story on it. And it's talking about like gym intimidation, gym anxiety, the thought of someone getting started in the gym. I think it's a topic that comes up quite often when we start talking to potential clients, people out in the street. Whenever they ask us about health and fitness, we totally get it.
Yeah, and I think for us, we kind of discuss and how, especially for me, I can resonate with gym anxiety, something that I still get to this day if I'm to go somewhere new. So we can definitely totally relate to it. We resonate, and also don't feel as if it's silly to feel that way. It's completely rational sometimes to have these feelings, and I think whatever you feel is not silly, it's how you feel, and we're going to discuss behind it, how to kind of tackle it. So yeah,
I think the first thing to recognise, like Elly said, is you need to validate those thoughts and feelings first and foremost, because at the end of the day they are completely natural. Anybody who goes into a new environment at some point will probably feel some sort of worry, nervousness, which can then lead towards anxiety. And I think that the more we build it up, the worse we'll feel on it. But it is important to sort of acknowledge that rather than trying to just mask it or allow that to put you off.
Yeah, I think it's to understand. I think often when we're feeling like a certain negative feeling, like overwhelm, fear, anxiety, it's to understand what the thoughts you're having in order to kind of say, I'm feeling anxious about going somewhere. Like, okay, so what's the reason behind what are you anxious about? For most people, from what I understand, is like, I know from talking from my side, like fear of the gym was, I was worried about what people will think when they saw me.
Fear of judgment.
Yeah, do I look like I don't belong there? Are they going to look at what I look like? I was also had issues relating to my body image that was, resulted in how I felt and what I was worried what people were going to see. Am I going to do an exercise wrong? What if there's a machine, I don't know how to turn on something or use it? So those were my factors. What was kind of like really pushing my gym anxiety. So
I think even there, sorry, I'm sort of having to interrupt there. You still get that now, wouldn't you? If we were to like whenever we go away, Elly won't like going into training like a big box gym or a gym that is like a members gym. Elly would rather train the hotel gym versus going to the other gym across the road that has far more equipment because of that exact same thought. So it's important, we're not just going to sit here. We're going to give you some strategies and some tools to help you, but actually these are the very tools and strategies that Elly will use herself, and we've done this with many clients because it is completely normal, isn't it?
Yeah. So then from my experience, so I'm very much aware how I feel. So I know that I still to this day, like you mentioned, if we go somewhere new, I'm gonna have these feelings. So what the approach that I then take is, okay, I feel this way, but I don't want these thoughts and feelings to now prevent me from doing something that I could possibly enjoy. I know that I feel good from having a workout, so that is going to prevent me from doing something that's going to help me feel the best ever that I can possibly do. So maybe the gym is a step that you want to do. So what can help me? So in most gyms, they have instructors that are there to help you in terms of like a gym induction to show you how to use machines. And I'm speaking, and I know for many other like personal trainers and people who work in a gym environment, we don't judge. In fact, that we want to see people succeed and feel comfortable in a gym environment. So for most people, I would say that we aren't judgmental at all.
No, I would say that's probably the reason why most of us got into the fitness industry, if you like. People who join, if you ask somebody why did they become personal trainers, because they want to help people. So if you're someone who is worried, even if you've got a bit of experience in other gyms and the thought of going into a new gym, don't be afraid to talk to the instructors about how to use a machine, how to get started on a certain piece of equipment, because at the end of the day, if you've never used that bit of kit, even if you're very experienced in a gym in your hometown, you're somewhere else, you've changed gyms, it's completely fine to not understand how to use a bit of kit. If we got a new bit of kit, we wouldn't know how to use it until we've learned how to use it. If you don't know, you don't know.
Well, it's like me and Benito are having a chat because Fitness First has a glute bridge machine.
Yeah, have you asked how to use it yet?
No, that's the thing. Like, so, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, we totally get it because I keep asking Benito, have you used it? And she's like, no. So I keep saying, you need to just go in with Ryan, and then Ryan won't mind because he doesn't feel the way that we feel. Like, you don't mind if, like, you look a bit daft trying to figure out how to do it.
I look daft anyway.
And then what I was next to say, and then my next kind of tip would be focus on the one thing that you are comfortable doing.
Yeah.
So you get used to the surroundings. So it could be maybe you're just comfortable like going for like a walk on the treadmill or the bike or the cross trainer or something. So then get used to your surroundings. But then, you know, you can then look around and then kind of like see like how machines are being used. Like, don't worry about that. And I also have to say as well, for most gym goers, and not those who work in the gym, they most likely are going to be so like involved in their own session that most people, like for everyone, they're not going to be looking at what you're doing. So it's also not worrying that people are going to be staring at you, what you look like. And if anything, they're going to be like, you know, in support of, you know, whoever's in the gym, because you're all there for a reason, and that is to get the most out of it, to feel really good. So I think for the majority of people, if someone was to be looking at you, it's because they're thinking like, you know, well done, or, you know, we're all here together.
And touching on that, another one is like why they could be looking at you is if they don't know what they're doing either.
Yeah.
You know,
you won't be the only one in the gym.
We get that sometimes where someone will be watching what we're doing and you're wondering like, why is that person looking? Why are they staring? And it's because they may not know how to use the kit. Sometimes I'll even ask them, is everything all right? And they'll be like, oh, I just didn't know how to use that machine. You could show them how, you know, and you'll learn. So I would also say like even sometimes someone looks experienced in the gym and they're using a bit of kit and you don't know how to use it, ask people, because I do think like gym culture gets this poor representation from people who are probably a little bit worried about it, and actually like even gym goers are often very friendly. Yes, sometimes they're in their zone. Yes, not everybody is going to be really, really supportive, helpful, but the vast majority of them, like, you might make their day asking them, can you look like you know what you're doing, would you mind showing me how to use that machine, because I've never used it before. It doesn't take long for someone to do it. Like, I know if I'm training myself, I love it if someone asks me how do I do something, because it gives me a chance to show them, and it's like, you know, that's what it's all about. So don't be afraid to even ask other members or someone who's using that bit of kit, do you mind showing me how to do that if you're not sure? Because we can always learn. There's always opportunities to learn.
And I think it's feeling comfortable being a beginner, because like if you were someone who's really good at cooking, and so you use all the gadgets and stuff, and then, you know, a friend came to your house and they wanted to use some of your stuff and they didn't know how to, you're not going to laugh at them or judge them to ask you how to do something. So it's exactly the same principle. Like, there's nothing wrong asking for help. Like, it's ourselves, we kind of like feel as if we can't ask for help, or it's that question of, you know, if you are someone who struggles with your confidence, it's kind of remembering that, you know, you're worthy to get help from other people, you deserve it. And so it's just giving yourself that allowance to go to the gym, step out your comfort zone, ask for help, because you have every right to know how something is being used, and you're not going to be a burden on anyone. People are there to help you. People want to help you. Yeah,
and I would say like that sort of thing about being a beginner sort of touches on like what we talked about in our last podcast about Elly being a triathlon. You know, Ellie's learning, she's getting tips, being taught things, showing people showing her how to do things. And when you are a beginner, you know, you've got to look at it as a positive thing, as there's so much to learn, and use that as a way to learn new things, because then it also will give you a bit more motivation of like, well, what can I learn this week about going into the gym? And then it doesn't just become about forcing yourself to do a workout to hit a muscle group or burn calories. It becomes about going in and having an opportunity to learn something new. You know, it might be like learn a new lift, it might be learn a new piece of equipment, it might be like trying something different that you've not done before. And when you start doing that, that'll give you a bit of enthusiasm, because one thing I would say we hear from a lot of people is they get bored, you know. So actually, if you're looking at opportunities, how can you learn new things, that's going to help reduce the boredom side of things as well. You know, we're still learning every day.
Yeah. And like, if you were to look onto the gym floor as well, and if you were to look at resistance machines, most of the resistance machines as well have like, now I know this because I'm talking like from my own experience, like something that helped me is that they have like a picture on, and then there's also like steps. No one's going to be looking at you about how much time you're taking on a machine or what you're doing on that machine in terms of if you're having to read like how to do something. No one around you is going to know what you're doing, because I know that for me, I'd be like so like conscious if like can I just read what I'm doing? It's there for a reason. It's there for you to read. And so, take your time to, read what it's telling you to do and the muscle. And I would say like, starting off from the actual machines is a great way, because you're going to be supported, they're going to be safe, and they're going to be like guiding you through the movement. And so that's like a great starting place if you especially if you're new to weights. I'd be suggesting go to the resistance machines. They're a great way and you can then like do like a little circuit, get used to it. And as you get more confident, that's where like, you can try new things. It's like when we do a gym induction at the club, I always start off with machines, and then I can work out where that member's confidence levels are. And then I can say, look, in a month's time, we can try something new, or try, the cable machine or something. So it's really important to work within what you're comfortable with, because then also you're going to get that enjoyment factor, so you're going to want to go again.
Yes. Another tip or tool that can help is looking at how, like, if you can, try and go at quieter times as well. There's nothing worse than the thought of going into even like I wouldn't say this is an anxiety thing, but I can't stand busy gyms. Like I will purposely avoid a gym if I know it's going to be busy, because you don't want to be waiting to get on machines. You don't want to feel like you're in a rush because someone else is waiting to get on it. That's only going to add to your gym anxiety. So I'd be saying, like, can you try and get your timings? And we get that, like, conventionally, if you're someone who's doing like a 9-to-5 job, you've got to try and balance it around it. But it could be like, rather than going straight after work, could you go home and have dinner? Gyms between 7 and 9 o'clock are often dead. They're busy between sort of 5 and 7. Could you try and go in at 6 o'clock when it first opens, because they pick up by just after 7 o'clock till just before work? Are you able to take an early or a late lunch? These are the types of things that can really help just ease your way into a gym, where you're not going to go into a gym where it's really, really busy, because it's also, if you're not confident and you want to get on the machines and the machines are being used, what do you do then? So it just sort of reduces another obstacle or barrier that you could have.
It just reminds me, actually, I think it was last year, and like, I'm like with me, like when I get like quite anxious, I get a bit clumsy, I get a bit stuttery and nervous, and say,
just when you're anxious,
do silly things. Well, I don't know if you remember, I'm sure you even do it at the time, but like we don't do the same workout, so we'll work out separately. I fell up the stairs. Do you not remember?
No.
And I was like, this is my worst nightmare. Literally, I was so loud. I fell up the stairs. My drink, like, it couldn't happen to a worse person. My drink bottle then opened, and it was like one of them big 2-litre bottles. Water just went everywhere. I then couldn't find my key card or my AirPod, and I just was like, oh my God, I've like, for someone who doesn't want to make a scene, I've just made like the biggest scene. But like, they were so helpful to me and just helped me out, and I was just like kind of like got on. But like, for the people who were in the gym, I don't think anyone even noticed that I had been like an absolute wally, and just like literally got a big cut on my shin bone. Felt sorry for myself. Water everywhere. Had to get like them those spillage signs out, and then like casually just walked to a machine. Literally, was like, get me out of here. But I thought, hey, I'm here now. And I was actually going to say, for my last tip was, have like a rough like plan of what you're going to do when you go to the gym, because then that prevents you, like, as you go into the gym, what am I going to do? At least then in your head, where you're going to start. And for me, I'm a planner. I just find that planning helps to kind of like take away the anxiety to some degree.
Which, of course, if you want a plan, you can just hit the link down below and register for a free strategy call with us, and we will help plan it out. But honestly, having some sort of structure or idea in place will 100% help ease that, because you're going to go in, you've got a mind of, I know what I'm going to do, but be flexible in the plan. And one thing what we often say is, like, when it comes to workouts, if you've got a workout plan in order, sometimes there's a reason behind it, but you might need to flip the order of exercises within that workout, so that you can get onto the bit of a kit. At the end of the day, you don't want to be wasting 5-10 minutes waiting around for someone, because then it also rushes them. It's just not we're not big fans of that. You know, I'm not really a big fan. I can't stand it when someone says to me, "You got many sets left, bro?"
Yeah.
Or
can
I bounce in with you?
Yeah.
Can we bounce in? Absolutely fucking not.
I don't do that thing. I don't.
Give me my space.
I want to zone out. I was just going to finish off on like coming back to the gym anxiety and the worries that you're having is really understand what is going through your mind, the thought about doing a workout or going to the gym, like what is the barrier to you or the obstacle, because what you might find is the thing that you're telling yourself is not actually true. You know, like when we talked about you worry about being judged, I'm hoping that we can eradicate that, because no one's there to judge you, they're there to help you, and there is people in a gym specifically there to help everyone, no matter who you are, gym ability, whatever. There's
if anything, when you're a beginner, that's exactly why those people are there. You know, like the people who are working in a
job
gym,
for a reason.
Yeah, they're often in that gym because they want to help beginners. You know, I think a lot of us, and you know, this is something we could probably talk on another day. A lot of people have this preconceived idea that personal trainers and coaches predominantly want to work with people who are already really into their fitness. They're doing like it's actually, do you know what? It's the exact opposite. You know, it's so much more rewarding, more fun, helping someone go from a beginner, go from low confidence, feeling anxious, to actually feeling comfortable in an environment which we know is going to help them feel better longer term. And that's where I would say like a vast majority of the people in the fitness industry are there. And if they're not in there for that reason, they're in it for the wrong reasons.
And that's where like our health club had like the whole meaning behind it has come from, is the health and happiness, because everyone deserves to work towards their health and their happiness no matter what. So you are worthy and deserve to go wherever you want in order to work on your health and happiness, and never ever let anyone or anything stop you from working towards that.
Yeah. Another tip which I think can be really, really helpful is work out with a friend. You know, put it in your calendar to meet a friend and go and train. You don't have to have similar goals at first. Yes, it's ideal if you're similar age, similar goals, similar strength levels, etc. But if right now, just knowing someone who you're walking into that door with, who you're going to feel comfortable using the machines with, and you can just forget the rest of the people in the gym, because we totally get it. If you're on your own, sometimes you can feel a bit more self-conscious, particularly if you get there and you feel like everyone else seems to know someone in there. You don't know somebody. Like, join a gym with a friend, like train at the same time. You don't even have to necessarily be doing the same workout, but that can just help ease all you want to do is something that's going to help encourage you to get through that door. Because once you get through that door and you get comfortable in it, I do believe like gyms, health clubs, training in that environment will change your life longer term.
That just reminded me of how we met.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I met Ryan...
I don't remember this part.
At his boot camp.
Oh, yeah.
I went to the boot camp because a friend had told me to join, so I joined. I only felt comfortable going to the sessions if I knew that she was coming with me. Like, I wouldn't go to this boot, and it sounds like mad, isn't it? Because now, like, I take a boot camp class, but I couldn't even go. And then I remember turning up one day, and I got a text message from her, and she said, "I can't come today. I'm working late." And I remember I stayed in the toilets, and then I went home, and I didn't come in because I just literally had that. And now I look back and I'm like, I so wish I could speak to the person who I was, like, you know, 13 years ago, because I'm so different now, and I've really felt as if, and that's why I am so passionate about this subject, because that was me. And now I'm hoping that I can show that the journey that you can do when you realise my self-worth and this is what I deserve, and I'm doing this for me. Like,
yeah, I do think
stepping out your comfort zone.
Yeah, and the big lesson, like, with that is nobody else in the gym is really worrying what anyone else is doing. Like, I would say 99% of the time they are just getting on with their own workouts. You know,
I can't say I've ever looked at someone and thought what weight they're lifting or anything like that. Yeah,
like, you know, you might occasionally, like, some people want to help you. That's all anybody ever wants to do, really. I don't think it is going to be like that. And I think, like Elly said there, having that person there will help you, motivate you, but then eventually you want to be able to get yourself, you want to get yourself comfortable, and don't ever drop out if they message saying they're not going to make it,
Yeah.
We don't want to do that.
I think feeling uncomfortable is okay. It's okay to feel uncomfortable, like, because I think that initial stage everyone feels uncomfortable, but you don't stay there.
But it's not okay to allow that to stop you.
Don't allow it to stop you from doing something. I think, like, you love to make me feel uncomfortable in certain scenarios.
So many I always think that, like, sometimes, and this is another thing, is when something's uncomfortable, but you sort of know, you know, a small part of you knows there's a benefit to doing it. And it's like, me and Ellie always have this joke, because, like, Ellie's like, right, can we just have a year of me not being thrown out my comfort zone? It was like, this year now it's a triathlon. Last year we were public speaking at the International Fitness Summit. The year before that, there's always something that I will get Ellie to do. And it's like, you know, like when we were away, I got us a photo shoot. You know, that's just, I do think that there's opportunities for us always to be pushing ourselves, because it's cringy. It is. But you hear that, like, you've got your comfort zone. Any area of progress is going to revolve around us moving out of that comfort zone. Do you ever get uncomfortable? A little bit. I probably do, but I embrace it. I think, like, I think I thrive on the thought of being a bit uncomfortable when I know something's going to give me personal growth. You know, I think, like, I'd say the last time I probably felt uncomfortable or really, really anxious about doing something was probably when I first talked about mental health, when I done it at the White Collar. And you remember you couldn't come. I couldn't remember why. There's a reason why
I had a wedding.
Yeah. I was a bridesmaid. I'd been getting, like, counselling for however many weeks, and I'd not told anyone apart from Ellie, maybe my parents. That was it. Mm-hmm. Like, it'd been like a real shit show. Like, but I was like, I need to talk about it, because I felt like that was part of my recovery process. And I was like, I'm going to do it at the White Collar. And we had like 700 people going to this event, and then it clashed with a day of, like, one of Ellie's best friends' weddings. And it was like, but I committed to doing it. I told my counsellor, because we were actually raising money for the charity that she worked for, I was going to do it, and we'd done it. But I remember that's probably the last. I literally felt like I could have gone to the toilet and been sick, because I was so scared. Yeah, I'm getting emotional because I was so scared. And I'd say just before it, and I remember, because I was shaking like a shitting dog, and just before it felt like everything just went quiet, and it was almost like you could hear a penny drop. And I've gone into the ring, and the guy started asking me questions, because I told him I wanted to share my journey. But then, after it had happened, the amount of people who came up to me saying how much they'd benefit from me sharing it. And that's another thing, is like, when you step out of your comfort zone, other people benefit as well. It's like, I look back now and I think, by doing that, I've helped many people. When you do it, if you're a parent, your kids see you getting out of your comfort zone, being uncomfortable, doing things, and you progress, and then they start to recognise that as well. Because, you know, Aoife May is very much aware that you step out of your comfort zone to your triathlon, and that's like, she's probably putting pressure on you, isn't she?
Yeah, but, like, Aoife May, like, just bosses it. Like, to be fair with Aoife May, the amount of things that she has done to step out of her comfort zones, like the swimming competitions, like one weekend she had like 9 or 10 events, she just gets on with it. And then even with the triathlon, there's me like freaking out, trying to tell her, like, obviously the last podcast I explained, like, trying to give her like, step 1, this is what we're going to happen. She literally just took it in her stride. She like got to the transitions, just did it. And I'm looking at her, and like, when you talk about role models and inspiration, people who inspire you, like Aoife May inspires me, because I literally wish I could be just like her. That she just gets on with it, and she just bosses it, because, you know, I naturally
you talk about it now, but you mask it well. It's one of those things. It's like, whenever we've done public speaking events, or we do things like, you know, even for our first few podcasts, you'd have been a lot more nervous. Now we can get set up and get on. But I think you mask it well. And sometimes it's not like fake it till you make it. It's probably not the right way to do it. But you probably do. You've learnt a strategy to allow that to get you to just move forward, because you know you're always going to stay stuck otherwise. You know? I
see the benefit
to it, and that's probably something that would be a good tool to do as well, is step back and be like, well, what happens if you don't go to the gym? You know, and we should sort of touch on it moving on. I think we've given quite a lot of tips, strategies on it. Is we're not saying that everyone has to go to a gym, and I would actually argue that if you're watching this, and even with these tools, strategies, techniques we've sort of shared, you're still thinking, no, you don't need to get to a gym. And that is really important, because we're not about a gym. I would say over half our clients don't attend the gym, and there's never any reason or pressure for you to have to.
I think if you're getting a negative emotion from something that's literally you feel as if like it can't be resolved through, you know, the tips that we've just mentioned, then my thought is, well, then I don't feel as if you're gonna gain or benefit from going to the gym. If it literally is like you have a weight loss goal, then there's other methods that you could do than going to the gym.
Yeah, like what you would pay for a year's gym membership, you can invest in some good bits of kit and get great results as well. So I would say, don't feel like we're saying gym, but at the same time, if you have the slight, I would like to get into the gym, we would definitely say there are a lot of other benefits to it. It's not just about a workout. The social benefits from doing it. Once you get into a gym, particularly if it is, you know, a friendly gym and it is welcoming, like, you know, a lot of our members would say our health club's very like family orientated, it can be a nice thing, and it becomes a social thing as well, and you know that it gives you that motivation to go. But it's almost like tearing that plaster off to get in that uncomfortable thing. What are you smirking at?
I've just realised you're wearing a hat.
All right.
I don't really like this hat.
Oh, charming. Well, I can't take it off now because I'll have hat hair.
Oh yeah, you do.
Hat hair. Because I even washed and conditioned my hair today. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So on that note, is there anything else that we needed to add? I think that is everything in a nutshell. Obviously, if you do have any questions, do you have any concerns, please do reach out to us. And if you'd like to find out more about what we're doing, how we're helping people, click some of the links down below where you've got our social medias. You can drop us an email. The most important thing for us is, from this whole message, is everybody or most people who are in the fitness industry are in it to help people. Don't feel intimidated or worried about the people. We totally get it can be scary with machines. It can be scary with not knowing what to do. But if it's a people thing, you're either looking at the wrong gyms or possibly seeing a poor light in them. And that's where, again, it probably scrolls back down. I'm waffling, aren't I? But sort of, you're supposed to say no. Sort of goes down to the social media thing as well. If you're seeing, like, you know, we know sometimes on social media there are people who probably share negative things of things in gyms, but they're a very small minority of them, okay? They are. The vast majority of people in gyms are very friendly, very helpful, very supportive, and actually can be a great environment to thrive physically and mentally and socially. Boom. Until next time, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and if you're really, really keen, we would love you to share it, and we look forward to seeing you next time. See you later. Cheesy wave.